Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, coming to you from the 2025 Moontower Comedy Festival. My sometime co-hosts, Miss Purrington and Mookie, are resting at home. We are recording from the Stephen F. Austin Upstairs Lounge. It's very nice and quiet. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, show reviews, our advice column, our listing of festivals from across the country and the world, our FPIA contest page, and my articles for Austin Chronicle and thebarbedwire.com about the Austin and Texas comedy scene. Our most popular feature is our events page for live comedy shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW, where 100% of the entries you see come from comics and producers. Click the Submit a Show button from the top of the homepage or events page to fill out the survey to get your show listed. It's free and easy. Tag us on your Instagram stories and we'll share your show promo to our followers. We also offer paid promo pushes on Instagram. Want to support these resources we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on PayPal, Venmo, or even Patreon. Click the Support CW icon on our homepage to see the ways that you can help us. Our podcast was launched in 2016 to bring you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the comedy scene as fascinating off stage as it is on stage. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, recording live on location at the Stephen F. Austin Hotel Lounge for the 2025 Moontower Comedy Festival, we're talking to somebody originally from Benghazi, Libya. You know where that is. All Americans know their geography real well, right? He's been on Conan, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He's the co-host of the I'm Sorry podcast and the You Could Do That on Television podcast. He's been touring across the country with a storytelling show, Pop-Up Magazine. I feel like that's not right. Whatever. He's been on Thrillist's 50 Best Undiscovered Comics. He's touring all across the country. I just said that. He's a newlywed. And now Comedy Wham presents our guest, Mohanad Elshieky.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
It is me.
It is you.
I think newlywed is the most important thing.
Yeah. Leave the best for last, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She's got to know that you are top of mind for everybody that is talking to you.
That is true. They have to know. Yeah.
Is she here with you?
She's here, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So she's getting to watch you. First Moontower?
Yeah, first Moontower.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This table is like attacking me. All right. Anyway, I'm going to calm down. So what do you think about the festival so far? This is Friday, so we're like basically day 2 into the club weekend.
Yeah. I love it, honestly. It's just, it's also like just nice just seeing people like I don't get to see often, because a lot of people live in LA, Chicago, or whatever, and even like people in New York, to be honest. I feel like I never hang out with comic friends in New York until I see them on like a festival or something like this, so it's been nice.
Yeah.
Just discovering like a new city, just going around and just, chatting with people, seeing what they're up to. After parties has been great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The shows are great. I mean, every show is like, pretty packed, which is nice. It's not like give it at every festival you do.
Yeah.
I think this is a great festival. There's a lot of comedy festivals around the country, and some of them are a big nightmare.
Well, certainly the JFL feels like the vibe is a dog and pony show. Like you're really in front of industry, and there is industry that is starting to come to Moontower more consistently. But one of my favorite quotes from the director of the festival is that she really wants comics to feel like they're coming to a summer camp.
Right. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. That's what I like about it. Yeah, because you just... Yeah, I mean, industry is important, obviously, and you gotta get discovered and seen or whatever. But yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, well, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a break here off the road and just trying to have fun with my friends and just do fun shows and whatnot. So I think that's the point.
Yeah. Have you been to Austin before?
Yes, like years ago. I think 2019.
Okay. Before times.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it was a bit different back then.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah. Now it's, the city's still like is beautiful. It's nice, but I feel like it's just very bro-y.
It is.
At least where we're at.
Where we're at, for sure,
Yeah.
because you've got the mothership effect
Right.
that kind of dominates. And I've tried, because I've been covering comedy like 13 years. So I've seen how
Right.
it was before and how it is since he's arrived. And you can't escape the fact that one of the biggest podcasters in the world has planted his flag here, and so everybody takes notice of that.
Right.
To the exclusion of all of the independent shows,
Right.
the non-bro-y comedy performers that are here, and so it's hard to get out of that shadow. But
Right.
it exists. It's, it's still a
No, yeah,
big
because I remember
scene.
back in 2019, I did a show at the Buzz Mill,
Okay.
and that was so much fun.
That show's still going.
Yeah. I'm like, it was like an independent show. It was great. It was
Angelina
fantastic.
Martin and Carlton Wilcoxon,
Yeah.
shout out.
So much fun, yeah. But yeah, like you said, I don't know. I mean, I've never done the mothership or been there, so
Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
idea what the vibe is like. But yeah, I can see why. Because a lot of people like it now. Some of the worst people I know are like, "Oh, I'm moving to Austin." I'm like, "Oh no! Oh, what have the people of Austin done to deserve this?"
Yeah. And my thing with people who move to Austin because the mothership is here, if they haven't done their homework, I get very mad because I think people should do their homework and realize
Right.
that there is more than just that one club
course,
in
yeah.
town. And if your whole goal is, I'm going to get my minute. I'm going to get my minute on Monday nights. I'm going to be on
That's
Kill
stupid.
Tony. It's like, okay, so you just sat around for 6 hours, and you could have been working mics that night.
Yeah.
Sure, do it once in a while, but you're not really. You're chasing fame at that point versus,
Exactly.
I really want to be a comic. Therefore, I'm going to work every night of the week at all of the mics and clubs. around
Exactly,
town.
that's how it is. I mean, I started doing comedy in Portland, Oregon. It was like that, like just doing mics, just going home at like 2 a.m. or whatever,
Yeah.
doing like just anything,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah, like just every night, just working on stuff, just working on material. Because obviously, again, you're not really getting discovered in Portland, but like,
Yeah.
you're actually working on a craft and getting better at comedy and all of that stuff. And I feel like that's how it should be. And I feel like, a lot of people, like, I don't know if it's social media, honestly, or just...
100%, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's there in our face. We're constantly looking at it.
Exactly, but everyone now just wants to like, oh yeah, I'm doing an hour and I'm going on the road. I'm just like, I've been doing this for like now 9-10 years, and like I feel like just now I feel comfortable just like touring and like going on the road and doing shows and running my hour, because I feel like I'm actually giving people something. I'm like, oh, this is what worth your money.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I can, like years ago I could talk for an hour. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
I don't have material for an hour, so it's just so funny what people consider like an hour of comedy or whatever. I'm like, no, it just has to be like straight punchlines beginning to end.
Yeah.
And do you have that or not?
Right.
I feel like, and I feel like I also, people are noticing that, like people, and because at first they were like, okay, yeah, it's, you go and see these people based on their like social media clips or
Right.
whatever. But now I feel like people are realizing, I'm like, okay, this is, because once you see someone actually like good at stand-up comedy, you're like, oh, this is what this is supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't go back to whatever this is.
Right.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
very cheap.
Yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen my share of people that are, TikTok sensations or whatever, and then they're like, I'm going to do stand-up now. And it's like,
I'm sorry, if
okay.
someone ever introduced me as TikTok sensation, I will not leave the house ever again. Literally. I don't want to be a sensation on any of those social media. I would promote on them,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be a sensation there. Jesus Christ.
There are some people that are funny that have made that crossover.
No, of course. But that's the thing. That's the thing. There are people who actually make it there. But I feel like a lot of these people have also done stand-up comedy before.
Yeah.
They got big on TikTok and whatever, and then used it to get into stand-up comedy, and that's good. I mean, like you got to do what you got to do to get your face there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like there's this thing where people just think just because they are in comedy, they must do stand-up, and I'm just like, no, comedy is very big. Like you could do sketches, you could do acting, you could do whatever, directing, writing, all of that stuff. It does not have to be stand-up, and I feel like people don't understand it's a very specific skill that you have to have. You can be the funniest writer, funniest whatever, but you just bring it. You try to do stand-up comedy on stage, and it just doesn't translate. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's a whole different, skill. But what can you do?
Right.
Yeah, people have to learn on their own.
Yep. All right. With that warm-up, let me ask you my first official icebreaker question, and then we're going to find out something you just mentioned that I did not know about you. So let me ask you my question. One word to describe your past.
Intriguing.
Intriguing. You make no secret of being from Libya, being raised in Benghazi, which I know you get this a million times, but I can't stop hearing I forgot who it was, some political pundit, the Benghazi,
right,
that whole
right,
thing.
yeah, of course.
It must be so annoying.
No, of course, yeah. The whole Benghazi won't go away. All of that stuff. And I'm like, it's not going away. It's a city.
Yeah, it's a city. Right,
Yeah.
right. You mentioned that you were in Portland, and I didn't know that. Is that where you started?
That's where I started doing comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you start?
Why did I start? Well, so in 2016, at the time I was in Portland State University, and I was studying business. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. And one of the classes I was required to take was public speaking. And I wrote my speeches, did the thing, and my professor at the time was like, asked me, have you tried doing stand-up comedy before? Because obviously every speech I do, try to make a bit funny, all of that stuff. And I was like, no. And I've always been a big fan of stand-up. I've always watched stand-up comedy, but I was never really knew how to even get into it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know what? I'm gonna introduce you to my friend Alex Falcone. He teaches a class. So I took a stand-up comedy class in 2016, late 2015 or so. And I think that helped a lot. I think it doesn't, obviously a comedy class doesn't make you funny, but it gave me a starting point. I was like, oh, this is where you go. I had a good, solid 4 minutes or something after 6 weeks. So there was at least a starting point to know what works and what doesn't work. Especially you're in Portland too. You're like, what works for this scene? As well, I don't really know the city like that.
Yeah.
So I think once I got into that, and then I started doing open mics. I did Helium open mic at Portland, and once you get to know people and stuff, and I just kept going at it, and honestly, it was just so much fun. I feel like I've never had as much joy doing anything else. And I just kept going. And at first, obviously, the plan wasn't I'm gonna make this into a living. I'm gonna be let's just keep doing this and see where it goes. And then and then I think when it really took off, I started traveling more. I went to LA and did a few shows there. That's when I got my manager, who I still have until now. And once that happened, they kind of took over, directing me into the right direction. Yeah.
I mentioned that I take detours during this, and was being in Portland your first time in the States?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
It was.
And how, when you were growing up in this city and this country that everybody who's not super well informed, myself counted. How hard was it for you to leave your home? Because for dumb American, we're thinking constant conflicts, very, very difficult environment to live in. So for us, it's oh yeah, of course, leave. But this is your home.
Yeah.
And you left your family. And I did catch, you have a video posted where you were reunited recently with your family.
Yeah.
And, leaving family is is
No,
no
it is
matter what,
hard,
very
yeah.
difficult.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. So how, why did you want to leave? In your words, and how hard was it to be away from home?
Well, see, the thing is, when I left Libya and I came to Portland, I was not planning to leave. That's the thing. I came to Portland on a State Department funded program, an exchange program, and it took people who were like from all around the Middle East and North Africa who were like interested in like civil engagement and like nonprofit work and all of that stuff. And I was like active back then in my community and all of that. So like I applied for the program, got a spot, and that's why I ended up in Portland, because it's one of the few colleges that hosted the program. So the idea was to stay there for 6 weeks, go back.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I didn't do like it wasn't me saying bye or like even like obviously say goodbye to my family, like see you in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But then, and obviously things in Benghazi, especially, like were like getting on the bad side when I left. But then by the time the 6 week went by, things started getting worse and worse. And then at some point there was no airport to even go back to.
Wow.
And because again, I was very active back then, and like I hosted a radio show. I did a lot of like work, like I worked as an interpreter for like journalists and whatnot. Had some work with the U.S. Embassy and all of that stuff. So that kind of made me like a target. So basically, I started getting like threats and stuff like that, and yeah, my house was like searched and all of that stuff. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what to do, to be honest, because like I had a carry-on with me.
6 weeks. So all you were planning for.
Exactly, it was summer too.
Wow. Wow.
Like literally not even like a winter coat or anything. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? And I remember like I spent like, my God, I mean the program itself, it was just like, well, I don't know what we do. I mean again, as Department of State, their whole thing was just like to get me back.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't go back. Like, it's not safe. Let's talk about like ways to figure this out. And I remember just like stayed in DC because that's where they're stationed for like 20 days. Just the worst 20 days of my life because I just didn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And then we like started talking about solutions and stuff like that. And then yeah, it was like honestly like pretty like bleak. And then
were you in contact with your family? I mean, because they must have been thinking the same. Oh, he's coming home in 6 weeks.
But that's the thing. I mean, my mom was like, you gotta like figure out like a way to stay until at least things get better or something. Like she was like, you can't go back now. You can't come back now. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't have any like even like really money or anything.
Yeah,
like I just had money for like
yeah.
for that, and that was it. And then I went back they extended my visa for like 3 months until like I figured stuff out. And I went back to Portland because I was like, okay, at least I know people there now because I spent 6 weeks with these people. And apparently those people like in Portland State had no idea there was like all this was going on. So they really, really helped. They were like, okay, let's figure stuff out. Let's see what we can do. And one of the professors then was like, okay, you know what? I used to be a lawyer. I have a friend in immigration. Let's talk about asylum, applying for a political asylum and stuff. And at the time, by the way, I had no idea what asylum was or anything. It was never a plan, and the Department of State never told me about it.
Oh,
they were just they were like, if your visa lapses, then you'll be here illegally, blah blah blah, all of that stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I didn't know I had options. So then I applied for asylum, and then just moved all of my savings from home, and kind of like transferred that here and tried to live off of that for a while until I got my work permit. And then once I got that, like I just started like getting jobs here and there, just like surviving basically. And I started also in Portland State. I got a scholarship there, so like I was like, let's do this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the first few years, honestly, were just kind of like on the rocks. You're just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it took me a while to even like get my asylum interview. So like the first from like 2014 to 2017. It's like, I don't know, we'll see.
Does today's political environment like terrorize you and frighten you? Because the word that you're saying and the situation you're describing, we've got like real life happening of that.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like if this was happening back then, I would have been like, I don't know what would have happened, because I don't think it would have been a whole different situation. I mean, like I have a green card now, but like even that.
I mean, we
it doesn't. It feels like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So you feel like very like just on edge all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At what point was this class where your professor encouraged you to take the stand-up class? Like now that we kind of know that timeline, 14 to 17, where did that fall into that range?
That was like late 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I finished the class and everything, and then officially started in 2016, like January 2016. I feel like that's when I did my first open mic.
Wow, this is the first episode of this podcast.
Oh, this podcast was just started for me. It was meant to be.
Wow! And how did you feel during that open mic?
It felt great, honestly, and I think also what helped. Again, I did have a class. So I feel like the 3 minutes that I had were like a bit solid. So I feel like that kind of gave me a boost to be like, just keep going, because I get it. Like open mics are hard. Like you bomb at first and all of that stuff. But I feel like I didn't bomb at first. I was like, I was like, okay, it's still going. It's still going well. I'm doing okay. I'm getting laughs. I'm getting like. All of that stuff, so I just like keep going, and then honestly, like also the scene in Portland was very, very like supportive. Like everyone there is like good friends. It feels like a family more than anything. So yeah, I feel like that was like a very good environment, just kind of like write material and try and then once you start writing new material more, you start bombing. It never felt like. It never felt bad. Like even everyone, like, because it always felt like everyone there wanted you to do well. Like even when you just did not do well, you're just like, okay, there's a next time you can still do this. So I always tell people, I'm very happy that I got to start in Portland at the time, because it really pushed me, it kept me going, which was nice. Yeah.
Did it become like the bright light of your universe when you've got all this other turmoil 100%. Happening?
Exactly, because that's the thing is like, after a while you just kind of have to push all of this immigration stuff to the back of your brain. Like you can't think about it every day. And also, you live in a new city. Like you gotta make friends and all of that stuff. But like, I was in college, but that's just kind of like, you don't really have much in common with a lot of people there. But like with comedy, I'm like, we have like something going on here. So like, I feel like that's what pushes you to do even more. Like, sure, I'm working on material, but like I just want to see my friends. So that was very great, honestly. Yeah.
Do you know the name Dylan Carlino? Mm-hmm. Because he was in Portland and he's now here.
Right.
He's on the festival, so you'll probably run into him at some point.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know other Portland comics, but he's the one that I remember the name the most.
Yeah.
Because he made a big. Have you performed at Cap City?
Yes,
okay.
Years ago. Yeah.
So they have this annual contest, and I can't remember if he won the one that's in Portland or not, but he won the one that's here in Austin. So
that's great.
Made a big splash, and now he's a viral sensation on social media. He's like 250,000 followers. It's like, oh my God, Dylan.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he talked very highly of the Portland scene.
Yeah.
So you're getting your start in Portland. How long did you stay in Portland? Because I know you as a New York comic.
Yeah.
So
I stayed in Portland until 2019.
Okay.
Like September 2019. Yeah. Because I was doing like well, and like I was doing well enough, and I felt like I needed to like a bit of a change. And then in 2019, I got to do Conan. And I feel like after that, I was just kind of like, okay, I feel like I've done everything I could do here.
In 3 years' time, you did Conan?
Yeah.
I mean, how cool were you feeling?
It was the best. I mean, I cried after, so backstage. So there's that.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, because he's like, of all the late night shows, he's like the comics comic.
Exactly.
And so if you can get on his, then
No, it was fantastic. And then I got a job offer as a digital producer at Full Frontal with Samantha Bee in New York. So I moved for that. Because my thing was I'm not gonna move to New York or whatever unless I have another source of income going on. I don't want to just go and just do stand up and just try another city.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be one of my questions too. Is okay. So you have a degree, and you originally came to the States for this business thing. So short amount of time you get on Conan. And you're thinking, oh, can I hitch my wagon to it? But you're still being sensible. You're like, no, I gotta have some bread.
Yeah. No, because I think my thing is just because the first 2 years of being in Portland and stuff like that, I knew what it was like to not have money at all, and I was like, I can't go back to that.
Yeah.
I can't go back to that. I can never do that again. We've covered that part of my life, and we're never going back to that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know. I feel like I write good material, and I feel like I'm a better performer when I feel also just stable in my life, just financially stable and all of that stuff. And I know a lot of comics glamorize the suffering and all of that stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not built for. I don't want that. I've actually tried not to do suffering anymore. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Very poignant for you in particular.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm good here. I'm not trying to sleep in a car. I'm not trying to do any of that. No, I'm trying to live comfortably and do comedy and enjoy my life. And then, but again, still, it was all of the jobs I had since 2019 were all comedy related still. I got to write for a few shows and Love It or Leave It and now wait on NPR. So there's so it's they're all I'm still doing jokes. I'm still having fun.
Yeah.
So I'm oh yeah, this is fine. And plus now I get to tour more and all of that stuff. So I feel I just have the best of the two worlds. Yeah.
How did you find the adaptation from the Portland scene, which you've given the impression very supportive, very collaborative, to New York, which is kind of a cutthroat scene, very intense comedy scene? How did you personally adapt to that scene?
First year I hated it. I was like, why the hell am I here? Why did they come here? This is insane. No one should be here. And plus, I moved there, and then a few months after the pandemic started, we had the lockdown. So I was like,
oh my gosh,
it's the worst time of my life.
Oh my gosh.
So I live in New York. I know no one in New York, and what am I doing with my life right now?
Yeah.
So it was bad.
Yeah, you really have had enough of the suffering.
Yeah, exactly. It was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
But luckily, at least I had my job at Full Frontal, so that kept me going. But I don't know, I am here. I hate it so much. But then after that, once I started going out, just seeing this back, I started making friends, doing shows. I feel then it just became so much easier. Because I think that the thing about New York is just it's all about the hang, because I feel every scene your credits go a long way. Just gonna be oh, I've been on this and then this. Can I do your show or whatever? Yeah. But in New York, you just have to show face and be around, so for people to ask you to do shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So once I started doing that more, made friends, I was oh, okay. I actually now I love New York. I can't imagine myself living anywhere else.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was this is a big mistake. Why am I here? I'm ruining my life.
Community sounds like it's really important to you. Portland, now feeling like you're really home. You love New York. Have you been able to find a community of people that have also left Libya, so that you kind of truly have your own personal community in that way?
Yes and no. I've had people even in Portland, some in New York, who have maybe left other places and came here. But Libya, the thing is there are not many Libyans to start with.
Yeah.
It's a population of 6 million people. That's less than New York.
That's less than Chicago.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
So there isn't much of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
usually people like when they leave Libya, they usually go to Europe because that's much, much closer. You know?
Sure.
But the US is kind of like hard. Like, so every like Libyan I meet in the US is like born and raised here, has family here. So it's kind of like a different experience, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
They haven't really lived in Libya.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do find a lot of people like who are just kind of like have left their home countries for that. So like there was that type of community, but again, still there's like comedians who are like I like them to be around and all of that stuff.
Has your comedy evolved? The clips that I see, they talk about some heavy subject matter. The one that's sticking in my mind is the carjacking story. Has your comedy evolved in terms of some of like the down stuff, the bad stuff that happens, and how you bring that to audiences?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I feel like these are stuff I always wanted to talk about. I just didn't know how, because there's no way to talk about that without like making it feel a bit, like bringing the mood down. Yeah, so those take a lot of trial and error, to be honest. But I was like, I have to, because and that's the thing, because like to me, none of these things are sad.
Yeah, they're just your life.
Exactly, those are just like my life, and also like not even like my whole life. Like, and I always tell people, I'm like, this is like the conflict in Libya and all of that stuff that started in like 2011. Before that, I had a whole life, and I was just, just doing normal stuff. Yeah. And even then, when those terrible stuff were happening, I was still going to work. I was still going to college. Like I had my whole life going on.
Yeah.
So like I feel like like you said, like Americans think of Libya and Benghazi as just like one thing. I'm like, to us this is like really just on the side.
Yeah.
It's like it's just happening and we're there, but we gotta you just continue living. So I gotta bring these stuff in because I think they're funny, but I have to find a way to make them funny and relatable and all of that stuff. And it honestly just took a while, just kind of
You've also happened to have a really great apprenticeship program by working for Samantha Bee, Love It or Leave It, and even Wait, because their mastery is in turning in just terrible stuff and somehow making it funny.
Right.
So you've managed to get really intensive training in perfecting that ability.
Exactly. Yeah, I think these really helped, and also like they helped also like in terms of like obviously my comedies always like try to do evergreen stuff, but they also helped with just kind of like doing current material. Like if I want to do a minute or two about stuff happening right now, I can do that. I have the tools to kind of like make it funny. But I think they were just great.
Gosh. Wait, don't tell me. I love that show.
Oh, I love it too. It's great.
So much.
Yeah.
Have you been on the stage as well?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've only started working with them like not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
Like a few months now, but hopefully, I'll probably just end up doing their stage eventually.
Yeah. I used to live in Chicago, and so I got to see more than a handful of the shows live. Back in the Carl Castle days too. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. When Peter was still like a baby host of the show. It was really cool.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So. Okay, so you're here for Moontower for the first time, and you're getting to hang out with a lot of your friends. What have been some of your favorite things that you've seen? Not just your own shows, but some of the fun things that you've gotten to see here that you might not see in New York.
Let's see. Honestly, here's the funny thing. So I know that Stamptown happens in New York. It's mostly a lot of it happens in New York. I've never seen it in New York. I'm planning to see it here, and it's fun. I'm excited to see it. I've been waiting for to have free time to do so because I don't want to be jumping from a show to the next and then seeing a bit of it. And it's funny because I feel like it's one of those shows where I ask people like, what is it? And they're like, I don't know.
I can't describe it.
I'm like, I just have to go and see
You
it.
have to,
And I'm
yeah.
like, because that's why I'm very like intrigued by it. I'm like, I want to go and see what the hell this is. Because everyone like, every time it's different. And I'm excited about that because I'm like, as much as I love stand-up comedy, like I get to see stand-up comedy whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And it's also nice, honestly, seeing it here too, because I see a lot, like some people who are like from Austin, so it's also like nice seeing like locals and like doing their stuff. It feels different. It feels like
Yeah.
more like fun and like all of that stuff. I like seeing that. So I try to see
Yeah.
people who I cannot see in New York, which is it's always nice. But yeah, I think Stamptown is like my thing. And like I want to go and see that.
Yeah.
And then see maybe Maria Bamford. Like
Yeah.
because I've done Limestone Comedy Festival, and she was headlining it. I saw her set back then. Incredible.
Absolutely
So
incredible.
I'm excited to see that here too. But yeah, I think tonight and tomorrow is going to be like jumping around,
Yeah.
doing stuff, and yeah. I mean, I'm excited to be doing comedy, but honestly, that doesn't really. It's not. It's fun. It's still
Yeah,
fun. I love
yeah.
it. But it's. I'm like, my thing is like, I just want to hang out and just see other shows,
Yeah.
and just enjoy being a viewer too.
Fully 100% endorse Stamptown.
Yeah.
I posted last night that before the show started, and I knew what happened. Stamptown has been coming to Austin 3 or 4 years now, and I go see
Okay.
it every time.
Oh.
So I'm a stamp head. And I went Wednesday night. We're recording this on Friday. I went Wednesday night, loved it, and heard a rumor about
Right.
somebody dropping in on last night's show, and it just so happened I was going to go to another show, and I was seated, and I'm like, the show is supposed to start at 9. It's 9:10. I'm out. I can't. When people can't start the shows on time, I just get really annoyed, and so I left. Happened to run into a friend who said, "Hey, I heard a rumor," and I'm like, I got to go see this. So I went. And the crazy thing about Stamptown is it does change every night. So I had seen it Wednesday night, and then I see it Thursday night, and I'm like, there's a foundation of some of the same elements, but it's been attacked in a completely different way. And it's just wild to me that people can do that. And for somebody that has never seen the show before, I describe it as, if you know what the modern definition of clowning is,
Right.
this is like clowning times an exponential factor of 1,000,000. Because, yeah, it's a variety show, it's hilarious, and you're like, it's also the same way I describe Maria Bamford's comedy.
Right.
On paper, this makes no sense. How can this be funny?
Right. Right.
But in live action, in your face, you're just dying.
Wow.
You're just dying.
I feel like so in the know now because I knew Neil Patrick Harris was going to be
Yeah.
on only because when I got picked up from the airport, the guy who does the Zaki, he was with us in the car and he mentioned it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So Zach was your
Zach, no, Zaki. He does the.
the magic.
No,
Zach.
He does the thing in the air. Was it called aerialist or
Oh
whatever?
yes,
it's called?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Oh my
he
gosh.
was with us and in the car and he mentioned that. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
but I thought people just knew, and now I'm like,
No,
wow.
It was a
Should have called Page 6 or something.
yeah, you should. And then he did the goddamn comedy jam afterwards.
Yes,
So,
yeah, I saw him
yeah.
yesterday. Like, yeah, I saw him,
Yeah.
and then a lot of videos have been posted since then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've recorded so many videos.
Oh, hell
'cause,
yeah.
My boyfriend loves Neil Patrick Harris, and he's the one that made me watch How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
But I'm old enough that I remember when Doogie Howser was on for the first time. So, I feel like I've watched this kid grow up, and I shared a random trivia because I think some of the Stamptown crew are staying here, and I ran into
Right, yeah.
Joey. And I was telling him, did you know that Neil was former president of the Magic Castle Magician Society in
Oh,
LA?
wow.
He's like, no, I did not know that.
That's
I feel
crazy.
like we need to know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's new to me.
Yeah. Because I went to the Magic Castle a couple of times, and they have like the former presidents, and I'm like, what? And I was like, yep, that's him. So I mean, talk about a multi.
I'm gonna take this fact and then tell people that he was impeached.
Impeached
And I'm
from
like,
the Magic
you don't wanna.
Society.
I'm like, you don't want to hear why.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So great. Do it. Do you want to tell me about your podcasts?
Yeah. So the current podcast that I'm doing is called "You Could Do That on Television," and it's about very old reality TV shows. And when I say old, not very old, like from the 90s, you know, I mean, that's when they were like popping.
Real world.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I was always so obsessed with them. Like even when I was a kid, like I would watch them on MTV and stuff like that. Like Next, Parental Control, all of that stuff. And I was like, there are so many podcasts about like the current, The Bachelor, all of that stuff. I was like, but no one's really talking about like that stuff. And I wanted to talk about them and dive into them more because I think at the time there were just no rules and they were like insane, and the things they did to people are just horrible. Like my God, and like some of it just like should not be on TV. So we named that "You Could Do That on Television," as in like you could do anything on television back then. And I hosted with my friend Hannah Wright, and we just covered so many shows. We also got to interview a lot of people who were on those shows.
Nice.
Yeah, like we did like Kid Nation, and we got like one of the not a kid anymore, and like talked with them. We talked to the guy who Room Raiders, like the executive producer of it, all of that stuff. But the one that comes to mind that I love the most is a show called "I Want to Marry Harry."
Okay.
And this is the show. They take like 10, 12 women from the States. They take them to England.
Okay.
They put them into some kind of castle like The Bachelor or something. And they're like, basically, they're implying here, you're going to meet like someone well-known.
Yeah.
And then they bring this guy, he comes from a helicopter, and like you see him going on, right, like red hair, like ginger, very white, and they're like, it's Prince Harry. The only thing is not Prince Harry. It's just a ginger white dude from the UK. And literally just like they gaslight these women and be like, it's Prince Harry. And they have like all these setups where they like drive him around and people are just holding signs like in the streets and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
So if the women are like, this is not Prince Harry. And some of them are like, I don't know what Prince Harry looks like and I don't care. And people are like, I've never seen him before. I just want to. But we found the woman who won the show, and we interviewed her, and then she was like, she lives in New York, and she was like, I won the show, but I knew this was not Prince Harry. And they were basically telling them, they were like, they had one of the producers basically pretend to be like a psychologist or something, and basically just goes to these women and be like, so I heard that you think this is not Prince Harry, like what's going on here, what's wrong with you?
Wow.
Yeah, just straight up, just like playing with their minds.
Wow.
And then we asked her like, "How do you keep in touch with him?" Like, yeah, she's like, we talk every now and then. He's a middle school teacher.
Wow.
I was like, that's crazy.
Wow. And then they brought that show. That show concept sounds very much like Joe Millionaire. You've heard of that one?
Yes. Yeah, we covered that too.
Wow.
That's another insane one too. But at least Joe Million, like, okay, this is a guy that you're not supposed to know. I'm like, this is not Prince Harry. Yeah. This is very obvious. He talks nothing like him. But I was like, my God, you really could just do whatever you want to.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching The Real World in the early days, and you really could do just about anything.
No, it's insane,
Terrible.
Or that show Next. On MTV.
Yeah, I never watched it, so I don't know much about it.
It's insane. I mean, like, just this part where they have these 5 guys, like we're like 19 or something, on a bus, and then they're supposed to go on a date with a woman outside who was also 19, and basically she can end the date whenever she wants to by saying next, which is fine. But the thing is, sometimes, and this happened multiple times, someone will step outside of the bus, and then you hear the woman from just across, like, says next. And I cannot imagine being 19 years old on national television and someone just straight up being like, no.
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, you're literally like, what? You're just building bad people.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, that sounds like a great concept.
Yeah,
Expose our dirty flaws from the 90s and 2000s, because we've learned so much. And we've become such better people as a society.
100%.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. No notes. Everything now
No notes.
is perfect. Please let the government know I said that.
Yeah. I will. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want people to know about you?
Other than newlywed, I have 5 cats.
5?
Yes.
I have 3.
And I think that's the most important thing.
That is
people
very
need to know
important.
about. You have 3. That's amazing.
I had 5.
Okay.
So I moved in with my mom, and she came with 4.
Right.
And I came with 1 who is a diva and does not like other cats. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting. 2 of them have passed. They're all geriatric cats. So yeah, now we're down to 3.
Okay. I had 2 cats. My wife had 2 cats. We got married, we lived together, we moved them in together, and then we were like, we need to get another cat. We have every shade of cat except orange. So we got like a baby orange cat a few months ago. And Mustard, he's insane.
Really, oranges to me are the best.
No, he's the best because he's just like, he's not shy, he's not, he loves people, so whenever we have people around, he's just jumping around and stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing is whenever we get like a delivery or something and I open the door, he just runs outside. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I have to take him in. But yeah, I love them.
Tell me the names.
They're Una, Toonie, Princess, Benito, and Mustard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You heard about in my introduction, that's my homage to them. Miss Purry is mine, the diva, and then Mookie is the orange. He's my mom's. He is a one-eyed blind pumpkin. I call him Pumpkin because he's literally like a round. And he's the sweetest thing.
Oh, so cute.
And then there's Follette, who is like, she looks like she's still a kitten because she's a very, very tiny cat.
Right.
She's scared of everybody and everything.
Oh.
But she could be very nice.
Yeah, some cats are just meant to be small.
Yeah. So, oh my God, that may have been like the best thing to learn about you. No, just kidding.
No. Literally, that's the only thing I want people to know about me. I'm like, because this is what I love talking about.
Yeah.
I love talking about these cats. I've installed multiple Ring cameras around the house now that.
Same.
That's all I do now.
Yes.
Like literally every time like someone looks at me like, what are you doing on your phone? I'm like, I'm looking at the cats.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my kids to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
You're on social media. I'm not on social media. I have my own social media.
Yeah. Yes. I have like my Miss Purry channel.
Yeah.
Camera directed for her.
Like I'll watch them do whatever. I'll watch them sleep. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you're in New York, and so you must know about Beth Stern.
Beth Stern.
You don't know? Oh, I just improved your life dramatically.
Okay.
So Beth Stern is Howard Stern's wife.
Okay.
She and Howard live, massive penthouse. I think they're on multiple floors, but one of the floors, she has gotten, this mega famous podcaster and show guy to turn one entire floor of their penthouse into a cat sanctuary.
Wow.
A cat and rabbit sanctuary.
Oh my God.
So she rescues cats.
Oh my God.
And then she posts multiple daily, and you can kind of see the journey. Like she always has moms, new baby moms, and then she gets them spayed. She finds homes for them, and then she's got this whole rabbit contingency as well. And
that's how you will know I made it. If you hear that I had a floor with cats.
Yes, I mean you're at 5, so this is in your future.
I mean my floor is cats. I just happen to live on it too. Yeah, but yeah, that's the goal. I'm like,
if you want happiness in your social media feed, you need to
oh,
follow her
I'm
account.
100% gonna follow her.
Yeah. It's amazing, and then it makes you realize, because I had preconceived notion of who Howard Stern was,
Right.
but he's so supportive of her. Like he'll show up in videos and as well, some from time to time, not very much. It is very much the Beth show, and
That's amazing.
it's just.
I love that.
So that would be my personal dream, is to adopt one of Beth's kitties.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're like so close. You could do it.
I can do it.
Yeah. Number 6.
I might do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been amazing.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a closing question. One word to describe your future.
Oh my God. I'm just you know what? I'm just gonna go with something positive, and say big things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you say thing or think?
Things.
Okay.
Big thing.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm
First
thinking
of all, I'm
bigger.
tripped up that you chose 2 words.
So that's the thing. So you spell them separately. To me, they're one word. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a cultural thing.
All right, just throw that in the
Yeah,
American space. Well, I wasn't born in America either, Mohanad.
Where were you born?
Belgium.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Okay, I love. I've never been. Like, I really want to go to Belgium.
Yeah.
But
Chocolate, waffles, and beer if you're into that.
the only
kind of
thing I know about Belgium is that movie in
Bruges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny.
That is a wrap on Comedy Man Presents Mohanad Elshieky. Mohanad, tell us where we can find you on social media and promote your projects.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm active there, a sensation on it, at mohanad.elshieky. And my podcast, you can do that on television. Make sure you check that. And yeah, if you want to know about the tour and everything, it's all on my website, mohanadelsheky.com.
Very nice. Well, we hope you've enjoyed learning about how Mohanad got to be the comedic genius that you are today, just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Man Presents Mohanad Elshieky. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Mohanad.
Thank you so much. That was great.